Can we please just start with that? Like when someone's like, oh, they sleep 12 hours. Got
You're so
lucky, got
lucky.
one of the good ones. No, because that took a lot of work and commitment and consistency.
Yep. Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are doing a video on sleep training. This has been highly requested by not only so many of you, but so many of our personal friends and family members have been wanting to know our secrets for how we train our kids to sleep, because our kids are all pretty dang good sleepers.
Very good sleepers.
I'd say they're all freaking bomb.
They are.
But guys, we worked hard to get there, because I've had people say oh, you just got lucky, and it's like, no, I didn't.
No.
I worked hard to make it happen.
Can we please just start with that? Like when someone's like, oh, they sleep 12 hours. Got
You're so
lucky, got
lucky.
one of the good ones. No, because that took a lot of work and commitment and consistency.
Yep. So it is a lot of work, but it's totally possible, totally
worth
doable.
Yep.
I've done it with 5 kids now, and I mean, I say that's pretty tried and true, because all 5 of my kids are so different. So who wants to get started?
Well, my biggest thing is, and I don't know if I should share this now or at the end, my biggest thing is it's never too late.
Yeah.
They both started super early with their kids, and I remember saying no, that's not India, blah, blah, blah. And I waited till probably 9 months, and she's now 12 months, and she sleeps 10 to 12 hours a night, no interruptions, doesn't wake up.
So she didn't start sleep training until she was 9 months old, and it still worked.
So it is never too late.
I agree.
Start today.
Well, and I feel like there's so many different methods out there.
Yes.
But like Maddie said, it's never too late. So if you already have a baby that doesn't sleep well and you want to train them, awesome. But my biggest tip would be start from the beginning. If you haven't had your baby yet, if you're just about to have a baby, start from the beginning.
Yep. I think for me, I was very into Baby-Wise, that sleep training method. I started that the first few weeks of Leo's life. So you wake them up, they eat, they play, and then they sleep. And the reason they do it that way is so they don't have to make themselves tired by eating. They don't necessarily have to be nursing or being bottle fed in order to fall asleep.
Okay.
Which I did like that part, because Leo's never gone to bed with a bottle or nursing or anything, which I really like. He's never depended on that. Of course, before, when he was using bottles, he doesn't have bottles now, he was having a bottle before bed, but he never relied on it, which I loved that. And with that, they had the 3-hour schedule, so he was eating every 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I liked that because, of course, we were just talking in the hospital, the nurses say, wake the baby up, they have to nurse or bottle feed every 3 hours. And Leo lost some weight in the hospital, so I was such a freak about waking him up. And I regret doing that. And Kenzie's pro at that.
I'm never wake a sleeping baby.
Never.
That is
You
her
let them sleep as
secret.
long as they will sleep.
Yep.
Yes. So that's her secret. But Leo was an awful sleeper from day one. Terrible sleeper, you guys. And at 4 months old, I was just I am exhausted. Waking up 3 to 5 times during the night. Where I'm this is crazy. I am exhausted.
It's hard to function.
Yes.
And
I had his crib in my room, mine and Steve's room. And the biggest tip our pediatrician gave us was get him out of your room. And I thought she was nuts. I was he's not 6 months old. Everything says they have to be 6 months old to get out of the room. And she's you are disturbing him more than he's disturbing you. And I was what is she talking about? I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything wrong, right? And so I told Steve that, and he's there's a lot of truth behind that. I am such a light sleeper, and I'm such a paranoid mom that when he would move or make a sound, I would sit up and check on him and make sure he was okay. And I think I was actually waking him up.
Yeah.
When we switched him into his own room at 4 months, that was the biggest game changer. And I think he was able to sleep in peace and not hear Steve rolling around and moving and me panicking and getting up and checking on him. So I would say, I think with my next kids in the future, I think after 3 months, I'm going to put them straight in their room. That's something that I've learned that I'm going to do.
I laugh because we're so different.
We're so different with
Because
this.
Andy did sleep in our room till she was 6 months old, but how Shelby's such a light sleeper. Oh no, I sleep through anything. I'm sure there were nights she'd cry for a minute and I never even heard it. Unless she was
a deep
crying, I didn't wake up. Yeah. But that goes for my husband too, because he didn't budge either, if that was the case. So that's just so funny.
But
That was funny.
I think with that, it made her a better sleeper.
Oh, yeah.
Because you weren't disturbing her.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so my biggest things, I'm just gonna give you a couple quick tips really fast. My biggest thing is teach them to self-soothe.
Yes.
And
100%.
fall asleep on their own.
Yes.
Like Shelby said, and I've gotten a lot of mean comments from other moms for this because they're like, that's so rude. Don't you want to cuddle and rock your baby to sleep? And it's like, hold up. Like, I'm giving my kid plenty of love and attention. I promise I am constantly cuddling them and kissing them and loving on them. But I know how important this is for later, especially when I have other kids.
Oh, yeah.
And my attention needs to be elsewhere. I cannot sit and rock him for an hour for him to fall asleep.
At the age of 5.
No. So like, that's my biggest tip. And even as newborns are different because they're constantly sleeping. I feel like they only wake up to nurse and then they just keep sleeping.
18 hours a day,
Yeah.
literally.
But once they start having those longer wake cycles, I would nurse them. And then after I nurse them, even if they doze off when I'm nursing, I always change their bum after because it like wakes them up a little. And then I'll burp them, swaddle them, however you put them in their bed. But then I put them in their bed wide-eyed, wide awake, and I walk away. And it's so good because then it teaches them to fall asleep. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they're not dependent on their mom rocking them. They're not dependent on someone singing to them. All of those things are awesome. Like, if you do that, if that's what you want to do, that is awesome. Like, no judgments from us. We're just saying how we've done it and what works for us. But 100%, I would highly recommend that because even now, my oldest, he will be 8 this year in just a couple months. And my youngest is 4 months old. All 5 of them, you guys. I'm not kidding. It doesn't depend on the day.
It's true.
Like, every time we lay them down, turn off light, shut the door. That's it.
And they're
end of
wide
story.
awake.
Yeah,
And
end of story.
Yeah.
And it's so nice because, I don't know, I feel like it's just forges good habits for them. You know, like they don't depend on something to fall asleep. They can just
Well,
do it.
and I think along with the sleep training video, something that's always been important to the 3 of us with proper sleep schedules are just the overall growth that your child
Yeah.
needs from
Yeah.
sleep. Brain development.
The neurological benefits. That's what I was
Yes.
gonna say, yeah.
That's why it's always been a huge thing for us. And not only that, you as especially a new mom are already so exhausted, and then let alone a mom that has multiple kids.
Yeah.
That you need a solid night's sleep.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're sleeping the same 10 to 12 hours to your kid or 6 to 8 hours. You just need a few hours of uninterrupted sleep so that you can be a good mom.
Well, think about if it's your 4th baby and you're up all night with your newborn, you cannot nap the next day while the
No.
baby's napping because you have 3 other kids to constantly be watching and taking care of. So,
And if you're
I feel
tired and
like-
irritable, how can you be the best version
Totally.
of yourself and be the best mom they need if you're so tired?
Well, and it's so easy to form bad habits.
Yes.
I had this thing happen. So my first 2, Dakota and Carson, they're only 14 months apart.
I'm switching my.
So they're barely a year apart. Dakota was a great sleeper, but he started having night terrors when Carson was like 3 weeks old. So I would be up nursing my newborn and my 1-year-old would wake up screaming bloody murder. And it was like this constant pull of like me not sleeping, trying to nurse, trying to take care of a 1-year-old who was having these terrible night terrors, that I was so tired that I would I'd calm Dakota down and I would turn a movie on.
Yeah.
In his bedroom, I would turn a movie on, I'd shut his door and I'd go back to bed. I simply did that like in survival mode. Like
Yeah.
I have to sleep like to function. So guys, it was so bad that he started waking up every night, even when he wasn't having a night terror.
'Cause he wanted the movie.
He would require a movie. And I remember this happened for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And I looked at Cody, I'm like, we cannot do this anymore. So it was just like cold turkey, but like anything, consistency and routine. It might be hard the first few times, but we had to break that because it was the worst
Well,
habit. It was so
And
bad.
that's something I was gonna say is crying is okay. Like crying is good.
Yeah.
And like all pediatricians and doctors say, if they're fed, their bum's changed, like they're fine. They just need to sleep.
Well, and-
crying's okay.
And I think the biggest fear people have with like their baby crying is their baby feeling neglected or
Yeah.
left. So if they're crying for an extended time, go in there, say, sweetheart, I love you, soothe them, let them know you're there, and then go back out so that they know you didn't just leave them.
That was our biggest thing.
Yeah.
They said every 12 minutes.
Yes.
So when we started this, we would wait. We would
And this
time
is the
it.
Ferber method.
Yes, and we would time it, and there were nights where it would last 60 minutes. Like every 12 minutes, we'd go in, fix her binky, give her silky, leave.
And with this I did too, sorry Mads,
No,
with this
you're
I
good.
did too, you guys, it's not necessarily letting them cry it out because you are going in a certain period of time, every 10 to 12 minutes, do not pick them up.
No.
Okay, they are getting themselves comfortable and they're self-soothing themselves. But you going in and just ensuring them that you're still here, everything's totally fine.
I love you, you're okay.
Yep.
And if you're not strong enough, make your significant other do it. Like, still to this day, she doesn't cry anymore when we put her to bed. Still to this day, Ryan is the one who has to put her in bed. I can't. Because
Really?
and when
I didn't know that.
and when we started and she would cry for an hour, like, we have her door and our door. We would shut her door, turn a fan on, shut our door, and I would have to have a TV going because if I heard it at all, I would start crying. And Ryan would be like, no, Maddie, no. So if you cannot do it, find something to block the noise and let your spouse do it. But now I love it. And like I said, we put her to bed at 8 every night, and she wakes up anywhere from 6:30 to 8 in the morning. And it's so nice because we get to sleep, and me and Ryan get like
Alone time.
at night, which
That's mine and Cody's like
Yeah.
only dates is after our kids are asleep.
exactly.
But I was gonna add, like, I don't think my heart can handle the crying. Like, I'm one of those people who my heart can't handle it. But because I started at such an early age with all my kids, I've never had to deal with that.
Yes.
Like, I have had nights here and there when maybe we have friends over or family, so it's like there's fun things happening. Well, where they will complain about going to bed, like not wanting to go to bed. But because I started making those habits and routines so early, we've never had to cry it out. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think biggest tips for me is get them in their own space as soon as you can. Even if that's like, if you have a smaller home or apartment, get them away from your bed as far as you can. To keep it simple. Leo has never gone to bed with anything. The only thing, people think I'm crazy for using a sound machine, but I'm not joking. The second that turns on, he can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, you guys.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he's had. He's never had a blanket. He's never had a lovey. He's never had a binky, a bottle, nothing. It's just him, his sound machine, and he will sleep anywhere. So keep it simple and keep it consistent. Because he was 4 months when we started sleep training him, he was still very young. That we did the Ferber method, just going in every few minutes and kind of doing the shush method, where when he was restless, he wasn't really crying. It was just, you could tell he couldn't get comfortable. We'd go in, rub his back, and then we'd leave right away. I think it took 2, maybe 3 nights. And I think we went in like 3 different times each night. And it's because we were consistent that he caught on really quick.
Yeah.
Babies are so smart. Kids are so smart.
They
and
thrive.
all they want is consistency and
Routine.
routine. And I promise, like, Leo's been the best sleeper since 4 months. He sleeps from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every single day. It doesn't matter if he's sleeping over at someone else's house or if we're out of town somewhere or at our own home, he will sleep perfectly. And it's because of that consistency.
Yeah.
And there are times, like 3 weeks ago when he was about to turn 1, I was rocking him right before bed. And I rock him and sing him like a short song and then lay him down wide awake every single night. And I started rocking him and like just kind of talking to him because he's turning 1 and I'm getting sad about it. And he starts falling asleep. And I was like, yes, like I haven't had this since he was a little tiny baby. And I let him fall asleep in my arms and I
So
just melted and I
sweet.
loved it.
So sweet.
So enjoy those moments.
Seriously, don't think you can't do
Yes.
those things. Just don't let them become a habit if you don't want it to
And
be
then
a
I'm not
habit.
joking, the very next day, Steve was home with him and Steve was laying him down for a nap and he's like, he fell asleep on me and it was so cute. I'm like, honey, I love that, but we cannot make this like a thing. So that night I was putting him to bed and just a short little rock and right to bed with him awake because again, don't make it routine, but enjoy it when you can.
No, totally enjoy it. This isn't some cold like go lay your baby down awake, don't cuddle him. Like that is the opposite of this. This is like forming and creating positive healthy routines.
Well,
because they need that like solid sleep to grow and develop, and
Sleep is a great thing.
it's the best.
And
All of us. All
I
of us.
never want my children to be sad to go to bed or not look forward to bed or like
that's the best
you
part
know,
of the day.
like I want them to have a healthy relationship with sleep and like, oh, bed, I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Because it's so healthy and it's
And as parents, you need it to be patient and to be present. You need to be
And
rested
like we
as well.
said, like there's nights, like there's been nights where she has a really bad cold, and
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
sit in her
there's-
chair
yeah.
with her for hours. Like it's like
There's
we said,
definitely
there's
exceptions.
those nights,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I need to share one last thing, and I believe this is the most important, hands down the most important with teaching your kids to sleep. Do not keep a silent home for your baby to sleep.
Never.
No.
Do not do that. And my mom gave me this advice when I had my first, when I had Dakota, and it was so important because it was just Dakota and I in the house. So when he was sleeping, it could be complete like silence, but because it was just me, I had to make sure I was making noise. I would turn music on. I'm not kidding. I would vacuum under his bassinet as he was sleeping. Still to this day, I've done that with all 5 of my kids. My kids play, I vacuum, I turn the TV on. Because if you keep silence and they're used to only sleeping in silence, the second someone knocks on the door, the second someone talks or anything,
Yep.
they're gonna wake right up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things that becomes routine and standard to them. If they're used to sleeping with sound, they'll be fine with it, and they can, I don't know, my kids can sleep anywhere. Wrestling tournaments, football games, anywhere.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I think too, another tip with sleep training, based off of your kid's age, ask the pediatrician how much they should be sleeping at night and during the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maddie and I are at a transition with our 1-year-olds where they can still have 2 naps or they can have 1. So really figure out your baby. I was trying to transition Leo to 1 nap way before he was ready, so we're staying on the 2 naps. So just fill it out. If you know your kid, and I promise, I feel like I'm a sleep training pro at this point because he takes 2 solid hour naps every day and sleeps 12 hours every night. And so I feel like I have this down with him and I understand him. And when I was trying to switch to 1 nap, I started getting frustrated. I told Steve, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is crazy. Like, he's not liking this. And Steve simply said, like, he's not ready for 1 nap. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I was just gonna say that.
And so the next day I went back to naps and everything was good in my world. So
yeah, you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll be able to tell when he just needs
listen
one.
to your kids, listen to yourself, and you guys, our biggest thing is be consistent.
Whatever you do, if like just create a little routine.
Make it
each time you put them
simple.
to bed. Super simple,
Yep.
but do the same thing every time, and they will become great sleepers.
And just a side note, like Leo falls asleep with a sound machine. Indy, we play 1 hour of country music. Like we have a timer set. She falls asleep to music every night.
Yeah.
But she doesn't rely on it. Like there's been nights we're out that I can put her in a quiet back bedroom and she'll fall asleep without it. So she doesn't rely on it. But find something that works for your babe.
Yeah. So main takeaway from this video, consistency.
Yep.
Find the routine.
Simplicity and consistency.
Yep, keep it simple. Find the routine that works for you and your baby. Stick to it. Do not break it. Don't let those unhealthy habits start forming because they happen that quick, you guys.
Yep.
It can happen so fast.
Something was simple really quick is as you're creating your night routine, like Leo baths every night, I use lavender lotion on him every night. We gave him his bottle, got him in his jammies, straight to bed with the sound machine. And you have to, as you're creating your night routine, you have to think, I have to do this same routine pretty much the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So do you want, and of course you want your kid to be in a comfortable bed and everything, but they don't need everything. So don't worry about them having a huge plushy pillow and several blankets and making sure. I've seen a few of our friends, they have like 50 binkies in 1 crib, just in case their baby drops one, they can reach out and grab anywhere. Make it so simple, you guys.
Keep
Make it easy
simple.
on yourself, and yeah, it's
Hey,
worth it. I promise.
It is.
Well, we hope this helped a little bit. We've gotten a lot of questions, like Ken said.
Yeah.
If you guys have any other questions,
Or if you have a specific situation you're dealing with trying to get your baby to sleep, let us know in the comments or DM us on Instagram and we'll try to help you out.
Yeah.
But that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We love you and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. A GoPro in her room.
Is
over
that
there.
scared Jerry?
Shiz out of me.
And Shelby's like, you were standing.
I said that means you were standing from those hours. And she's like, are you
Right.
sure? And I'm like, it says you're standing.
Straight up paranormal activity.
Oh, yeah.
Go quiet.
And
I don't know. Just sorry.
You okay?
Holy cow, I almost died. I did?
Yeah.
Oh.
that's why we were.
I
I know we're both like, okay.
Hey.